Welcome to TFO Next Morning. We're going to be going over Week 10 this week, and we're going to be doing our mid-season breakdown as everyone has gone through the bye week, and now we've had all teams up for 9 games. So with the last 7 to go, I thought this would be a good time to hit the midway. But let's start off with a recap of the Week 10 games. We're going to start off with the Thursday night football game, which was the Rainbow Unicorns taking on the World's Warriors. And the Unicorns got blown away by the Warriors. Unicorns 7, Warriors 44. Then that took us into a special Friday release of Hollywood Heroes against the Stellar Offenders, where Al Bundy and the Heroes were getting the victory, 24, Offenders 17. And then the Saturday night special with the Weapon X's taking on the Whovians, and the X's got a big victory, 28 to Whovians 14. For our Sunday games, we had the Racial Slurs taking on the 8-Bit Brigade. Slurs with the victory, 28 to Brigades 14. Boxhead Capers versus the Azrothian Assassins, and the Capers getting the win, 17, Assassins 7. The Beer Gods facing off against the Defenders, with the Beer Gods holding on to the big victory, 17 to Defenders 10. South Jersey Slashers took on the DBZ squad and shut them out. Slashers 14, Squad 0. The WWF Hoffs took on G.I. Joe, and the Hoffs with a big victory here, 17, Joe 3. Nocturne Maniacs taking on the Lost Survivors. The Maniacs with the victory, 21, Survivors 24. Venture Industries versus the Robot Masters, with the Industries getting a huge victory here, 42, Masters 21. TMNT Torturers facing off against the Raider All-Stars, and the Torturers, they were the losers, 21, All-Stars 38. And then the Sunday night football game saw the Rap Kings taking on the Pallet Poke Ballers, with the Kings getting a big win here, 42, Ballers 38. So that takes us into the current standings here. Bad Snap Division, we got the Boxhead Capers tied in first with the Offenders, Hollywood Heroes, and the Lost Survivors. All them teams have 6 and 3. But Boxheads are up top based on the tiebreaker. Bad Crackle, we got the Beer Gods up top, 7 and 2. The Weapon X's have moved into second. They're tied with the DBZ squad. They both have 5 and 4. Raider All-Stars back there, 4 and 5, and Azrothian Assassins 2 and 7. Bad Pop Division, you got the 8-Bit Brigade on top, 5 and 4. The Slurs, 4 and 5. The Nocturne Maniacs, 3 and 6, along with the Turtles. Mad Snap, we got Venture Industries on top, 6 and 3. World's Warriors, 5, 3 and 1. Hoffs and Rainbow Unicorns down there, 3 and 6. Mad Crackle, we got a 3-way tie for first. The Greek Legends on top based on their tiebreaker, but the All-American Alkies and the Champs Chumps are right behind them. All of them are 5 and 4. Westeros back there 3 and 6, and the Robot Masters way back there 1 and 8. And then Mad Pop, you got the Rap Kings on top, 7 and 2. South Jersey Slashers in second, 6 and 3. The Defenders 5, 3 and 1. The Pallet Poke Ballers 4 and 5, and G.I. Joe 2 and 7. So, injury report. So, the current injuries we got going on here. I'm going to go from the top bottom. I know I don't usually do that, but Piper, he's still out. That sucks for the Hollywood Heroes. He's a good returner. Pocahontas is out for the Rainbow Unicorns. She's wide receiver. She's missed because they really need something on offense. Sir Lancel's still out for the Westeros Guardians. They really need something to kickstart him. Greek Legends are missing both King Agamemnon and King Priam. I don't think that's as bad now that the Barry God Sanders is going to be returning. So, Ninja Snake Eyes of G.I. Joe, that's horrible missing him. He is basically their whole offense. Wide receiver 4, Adam MCA Rap, he's out. He's a returner, so we missed them all. But the ones we won't be missing are the ones that are returning, which are Grom Hellscream of the Azrothian Assassins. He's the running back. Cousin Butch of the Hall of Famers. We'll see if he can stay healthy. Barry God Sanders, Greek Legends, he's an almighty force. He's been missed. And Lone Star of the Defenders, he's definitely been missed. That could have turned the tide against those Beer Gods this week. But he's coming back. And then the bye week reminder, there's no more bye weeks. Everybody's caught up. So everybody is on neutral ground. And because of that, Because of that, we're going to do a 2016 mid-season breakdown. Now, I know there's 9 games completed, 7 games left, but we're all caught up with the buys now, so everybody's equal. So when we're looking at these standings and stats, there's nothing skewing the numbers. It's how it is after 9 games. So we got 7 more games to go. Anything can happen, but this is how it is right now. So the TFO top offenses, number 1 is the World's Warriors. They got about 3,000 yards. They're the only team with 3,000 yards. They're the only team with 25,000 passing yards. Just looking at the top 11 there, he's way ahead in the passing yards, but very low rush yards. The lowest rush yards of the top teams other than the Ballers. So number 2, you got the Celestial Defenders. Number 3, the All-American Alkies. Number 4, the Palette Pokeballers. And number 5, the Hollywood Heroes. And there's some other good ones on there. You got Offenders, Beer Gods, Legends, Kings, X's, and Survivors all there on the top 11. World's Warriors definitely impressing with their yardage. TFO top defense is number 1, the Beer Gods. They've only allowed 1,700 yards, 1,754. The pass yards is where it's at for them. They are blocking that pass great. They're the only team that's under 800. They're the only team under 900 even. That's incredible. But they're allowing a lot more rush there. I mean, that could be a testament to what's in their division too. But up there on the top as well, you got the Offenders, the Stellar Offenders, number 2. You got the Boxhead Capers, number 3. The Celestial Defenders, number 4, and the Rainbow Unicorns, number 5. Man, see, that Rainbow Unicorn defense is working. It's doing what it's supposed to be doing. It's their offense that they're having problems with. And that's what they're going to need to correct going forward. So, let's go into positions here. TFO leading passers, you got John Locke on top, number 1 of the Lost Survivors. He's got a really great rating because he's only thrown 2 interceptions. He's got 21 passing touchdowns. His completions are pretty good. You know, but Sun Tzu's right behind him with the World's Warriors. You also got Darth Vader up there, the Stellar Offenders. Vash Stampede of the Celestial Defenders. And Tupac Shakur, number 5 for the Rap Kings. And Jim Bean, number 6 for the All-American Alkies. So those are some great passers right now. And for passers, you also need receivers. So we got General Patton on top for the World's Warriors, number 1. Captain Morgan, number 2 for All-American Alcoholics. The Green Power Ranger, the Evil Green Ranger, number 3 for the Stellar Offenders. Gyarados of the Pokemon Pokeballers, number 4. Buzz Lightyears, number 5 there for the Celestial Defenders. And then Sir Jamie, number 6 of the Westeros Guardians. And then we go into the TFO leading rushers. We got Al Bundy, number 1 there, the Hollywood Heroes. Impressive 1,500 yards. Very impressive. Number 2 is Michael Myers, the South Jersey Slashers. 3 is Broly of the DBZ Squad. 4 is the Wolverine of the Weapon X's. He's a quarterback. Number 4, he's a quarterback. Number 5 is Snake Eyes of G.I. Joe. And then pulling up number 6 is the Bum of the Racial Slurs. We'll go into TFO leading scorers. Al Bundy still on top, number 1 there, 25 touchdowns. Number 2 is Michael Myers, South Jersey Slashers with 20. 3 is Brock Sampson of Venture Industries, 19. Tied with him is Animal, Boxhead Capers with 19. And then Snake Eyes and Wolverine bring up number 5. They're tied with 15 each. Field goals, number 1 is Logger. He's really come along these last few weeks. He's kicked 11. 2 is Frost for the Nocturne Maniacs. He's kicked in 9. Then we got Dot Matrix of the Defenders and Android of the DBZ Squad for number 3. They're tied with 8. And then number 5, there's tied with a bunch of people. Needleman, Alex, and Lucia. And then pulling up the end there is Slaughter, Thomas, and Braun. So those are some field goal people for you, I guess. Interception-wise, number 1 is Leatherhead of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. He's got 5 interceptions and a touchdown. That's incredible. 2's tied with 3 different people. Paglia of the South Jersey Slashers, Ric Flair of the Hall of Famers, and Thor of the Weapon X's. Oh, and Galactus of the Offenders, and David Tennant of the Whovians. They're all tied. I'm sorry, there's a 5-way tie there. So a lot of people with 4, but only one with 5. And then the TFO leading sackers, you got Jason Voorhees, number 1, South Jersey Slashers with 19 sacks. Number 2 is shared by Alexander the Great of the World's Warriors and Miss Piggy of the Boxhead Capers. They both have 15. Number 4 is Commander Hannibal of the World's Warriors. He has 12. Number 5 is a three-way tie, starting with General Sherman of the World's Warriors with 11. Nappa of the DBZ Squad with 11. And Phoenix Force of the Offenders, Stellar Offenders, with 11. Woolly Wild Turkey's tied down there with the Monarch with 10. Both All-American Alcoholics and the Venture Industries. And then Shadow of G.I. Joe's got 9. He's down there at the bottom, tied for 10. Man, the World's Warriors taking 3 of those spots. Man, their defense is just as good as their offense. Punters suck, but you got Blaziken still on top. He's only had to kick it 4 times, but his average is really good because of that. Bringing up Jack, Ladrian, and Jacob, they all got the same average, I guess. Well, Jack doesn't, but the other 2 do. And then Doc and Zord. So, don't punt. Man, look at 3 of those have 11 punts, so... Is that good? Is that bad? I don't know. You be the judge. Punt returners, you got Tinkerbell on top of the Rainbow Unicorn. She's got a really good average. Ronda Rousey's right behind her, though. Tim Brown of the Raiders, he has a touchdown as well. Oberon of Westeros Guardians, the sexy Pikachu of the Pokemon fame. And Darth Maul of the Offenders, bringing it up. Punt return for a touchdown, still crazy to me. Speaking of more returns here, how about TFO kickoff returners? You got Freddy Krueger, the South Jersey Slashers on top. Ron Jeremy, the Chumps, is number 2. He has 2 touchdowns on the year for kick returns. Camazotes of the Nocturne Maniacs is number 3, tied with Eccleston of the Hoovians. Hellscream, number 5 for the Azerothian Assassins. And number 6 is Tim Brown of the Raider All-Stars. He also has a kick return touchdown. I believe he's the only person in TFO history to have a kick return touchdown and a punt return touchdown in the same season. So, way to go, Tim Brown. So, while I was looking at all these records and everything, I went ahead and found that some of these records have already been broken. We still have 7 games to go, and we have some season records that have already occurred. So, I'm going to highlight them here. So, the quarterback record for the most rushing attempts for a quarterback, well, it was previously held by Princess Belle of the Rainbow Unicorns in the 2014 season. She had 73 attempts. Well, that record has already been shattered because after week 10, the current champion is the Wolverine of the Weapon X's. He's already ran for an astonishing 157 attempts this season, and there's 7 more games to go. He doubled Princess Bella. Just incredible. It's all because of the change in the playbook and allowing yourself to be able to have 3 quarterback sneaks, and Wolverine's really trying to exploit it, and his team has. Quarterback record for most rushing yards for a quarterback, well, that was held previously by Jim Plunkett of the Raider All-Stars, the 2014 Raider All-Stars, when he MVP'd. He threw for 1,024 yards, or rushed for 1,024 yards, I mean. Well, now that record is currently held by the Wolverine of the Weapon X's again. He currently has 1,106 yards, and there's 7 games to go, so he barely broke the record. But man, is he going to bust it open wide. So 2 great records there held by the Wolverine. Defense, most interception touchdowns. Well, currently there's a handful of people that have that. Dirty Rhonda of the Cleveland Steamers 2013, Bald Bull, the 8-Bit Brigade 2014, and the Daredevil of the Marvel Combat 2015. They all have 1 interception touchdown each. Well, we have 2 this season already. We got Leatherhead of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and we have the Headless Monk of the Hoovians. They both have a touchdown each. So they could break this record just with 1 more interception touchdown. So let's root for them for the rest of the season. Kicker with the most field goal attempts, that was previously held by Blinky Mullendorf of the Great Llama Nation, the 2014 Llama Nation, a team I missed. That's a good team right there. Blinky kicked at 18 or tried 18 field goal attempts. Well, currently that record has been tied because RCR Alex of the 8-Bit Brigade has kicked it 18 times already this season with 7 games to go. So as long as he tries to kick it 1 more time, then the record will be broken. Speaking of kicks, how about kick returners with most kick return touchdowns? Well, that record's currently held by another handful of people. Fairy Fern of the Rainbow Unicorns 2013. Chester Drawers, one of my heroes, the Champs Chumps of 2013. Fairy Tinkerbell of the Rainbow Unicorns 2013 and 2015 season. She did it twice. All those people have 2 touchdowns each for a season. Well, there's another guy to add to that list, and that's Ron Jeremy of the Champs Chumps this year. He currently has 2 touchdowns. So if he can get one more, he'll break the record and he'll be the sole owner of it instead of having to share it with a gaggle of people. So come on, deep throat it, Ron. You can do it. And then the last record is the most punt return touchdowns, which is currently held by Tyrion Fodring of the Azerothian Assassins 2015 and Funshine of the Care Bears 2015. They both had 1 punt return touchdown each. And we all know that you can add Tim Brown to that list too. The Raider All-Star had 1 punt return touchdown this season already, so he'll go into the record books tied up. But if he can just get one more, that's what it's about, right? Breaking the records, seize the day, carpe diem. That's what I gotta say. So way to go to those guys already breaking records and tying records, and hopefully more people are breaking. There's some people that are close to records when I was checking, but if you weren't breaking it or tying it, I wasn't going to add you to the list. But there are some records that are close to being broken. So keep it up. I love adding to the TFO history, like talking about Blinky Mullendorf. That brings warmth to my cockles. So something else that's going to bring a little warmth to my cockles is I went ahead and looked at the current standings, and if the playoffs were to happen today, this playoff tree right here would look something like this. Bam. So the Golden Stars indicate the winner of the division. So on the bad there, the number 1 seed is at the bottom. It's the Beer Gods. They're 7-2. They won their division. And then the Boxhead Capers up at the top. They're 6-3. They were 2nd seed. They won their division. The 8-Bit Brigade won their division, but they were 3rd seed because of their record. So they're going to play the Lost Survivors, who was the 3rd wild card. And then the Hollywood Heroes was the 2nd wild card, going off against their divisional rival, the Offenders, the Stellar Offenders. So as you can see right there, the 3 wild cards were all taken up by the bad snap. They all had 6-3 records, which break anybody else getting into the wild cards. So the other teams are really going to need to strive the rest of the season to get a lot of victories and not see this whole division just take it, man. That's just incredible. But, they're going to be playing each other too, so that's definitely going to help level some stuff out. On the right there with the Mad, you got the Rap Kings at the bottom. They're 7-2, and they would have won their division. And then up at top, 2nd seed is the Venture Industries. They're 6-3, so they would have won their division. And then you go down to the Greek Legends. They're 5-4, based on the tiebreaker and everything. They would have been in their division. They would have been the champions. They'll actually fight off against the 3rd wild card, which would have been the World's Warriors, because of that tie. Got them in 5-3-1. That snuck them in. So did it for the Celestial Defenders there, 5-3-1, who would sneak in there and play the South Jersey Slashers 6-3. So look at that, the Mad Pop bringing 2 wild cards. So that means that the Mad Crackle only brought their divisional representative. So will that be how it is? Will these ties really sneak these guys in? I guess we're going to find out going forward. So, but you know what? I wanted to take it one step further because I'm the Raj. I do stuff like that. I'm crazy. I'm wild. I'm drinking a Miss Twist cherry right now. It's delicious. And I'm going to tell you what I think would have happened during these games. Who would have won? What would have happened? Who would be the TFO champion if the playoffs were happening right now? So, bam. So that's who would have won the wild card games right there. So you got the Stellar Offenders going off against the Hollywood Heroes, but I just think Al Bundy is just a bomb, yo. He is just incredible. I saw the game where he ran 6 touchdowns in one game. Just incredible. So the Stellar Offenders have an amazing offense, but as we saw this week, they lost to them. So I think the Hollywood Heroes got their number, so I think Hollywood would advance. Then you got the Lost Survivors taking on the 8-Bit Brigade. The Lost really, like Balog says, really depends on if they get that broken coverage. The 8-Bit Brigade has a pretty solid defense, so I think that they don't get as much broken coverage. The 8-Bit Brigade's able to capitalize, use Hayabusa a little bit, and I don't think Lost's defense is really that great, so I think the 8-Bit Brigade takes the edge there. On the Mad playoffs there, the South Jersey Slashers taking on the Celestial Defenders. I know the Slashers have a better record than the Defenders, but the Defenders really had their number early on in the season, and so I think this is a really bad matchup for South Jersey Slashers. If they could avoid playing the Defenders here in this early in the playoffs, I think that would really have benefited them. But this matchup, I got to give to the Defenders. I think all around, they're a much better team than what Chris McLeese even thinks. So I think they're a really good squad. Down there at the bottom, the World's Warriors taking on the Greek Legends. I don't think a lot of people would agree with this here. The World's Warriors got the best passing offense. But, Greek Legends, I like that Barry God Sanders, man. And when he's out there and he's healthy, I think he really gives them a great dynamic. And I think that the Greek Legends run game can really give the World's Warriors defense a problem. They're known for their sacks, though, but I'm going to go with the Greek Legends. That's my pick there. So let's go ahead and check out the next round. Bam! So the Boxhead Capers taking on the Hollywood Heroes. I picked the Hollywood Heroes again. Man, that Al Bundy. I tell you what, it's Animal versus Al Bundy. And when it comes down to you having two great running backs like that, I got to go with the better defense. And I think Miss Piggy is amazing out there. And I think she's going to be a factor. But I think Al Bundy is just a little too much. Too many run plays to the down. I think it's going to avoid Miss Piggy a lot. He's going to be able to get around her. I think this goes to the Hollywood Heroes. Then at the bottom there, you get the 8-Bit Brigade taking on the Beer Gods. And in another controversial move here, I'm going to go with the 8-Bit Brigade with a victory. I love Dave, but the man hasn't been able to make a playoff victory happen here. And he's had some amazing squads, and this year doesn't look any different. He's got an amazing squad. He's going in with just all the fire in the world. But I think the 8-Bit Brigade defense gives him trouble here, and they sneak in a victory. Now, I think it would have been some sort of cheese last-minute play that Dave's going to curse. So, then on the Mad side here, Venture Industries taking on the Defenders, and I just think the Defenders are a more rounded team. Venture Industries just got Brock Sampson. Defenders have an amazing defense. What if Brock's injured here? What if he comes in ill? What else do they have? They got the Monarch who's getting some good sacks, but I think the offensive line of the Defenders is much better. And yeah, I just went with the Defenders there. And then for the Rap Kings versus the Greek Legends, I went with another controversial move here, and I went with the Greek Legends. I think the Rap Kings are on fire, and I think they're getting on fire quick and early, and I think that's going to not help them in the playoffs. I think that the Tecmo Gods would come in wrath, and it seems like in the playoffs especially that the main seeds aren't as lucky sometimes. So, and I actually didn't pick any number one seeds going into the Final Four. So maybe I'm just crazy, but that's how I'm seeing it. So don't judge me. So, and then let's go to the next round. Bam! So the Hollywood Heroes taking on the 8-Bit Brigade, and I just think the power of Al Bundy is just too strong, and he's going to the Odin Bowl mid-season example, fantasy, whatever you want to call this. And he's going to be fighting off against the Celestial Defenders. I think that the Defenders' defense is going to shut down Barry God Sanders. Celestial Gods going up against Barry God, and I think it's just going to be too much for Barry God. I think he's going to have a hell of a season. People are going to cry his name in stadiums throughout history, but I think the Defenders are going to go back to the big game for the second time. And actually, this will be both of their second times. So that's what's interesting. And actually, this would be a rematch of when they originally met back in 2014. So this would be a really incredible sight to see the Hollywood Heroes take on the Defenders one more time for a bowl. Last time it went to the Defenders. So did Hollywood get the one up this time? Did I give it to Hollywood? Did Al Bundy win it? Did he get the championship? No, I went with the Celestial Defenders. The main reason I did that was because if I can see him holding Barry God Sanders and getting the victory, I can see him holding Al Bundy. And I'm not saying Al Bundy's not going to give him trouble, but they got so many other tools and resources that I think the Celestial Defenders, they just look so good right now. They're going to sneak into the playoffs with a tie, and they're going to make the most of that. And I think that they could get it here. And even if you'd have changed out the Greek legends for the Rap Kings, I think the Defenders can take them down. Now, if you change out the 8-Bit Brigade for the Beer Gods taking on the Hollywood Heroes, I think that the Beer Gods could have a better shot at beating the Hollywood Heroes than the 8-Bit Brigade. So that could have been a different story over there. So maybe if you wanted to change that out. What about the Boxhead Capers well, they wouldn't have made it there, so it wouldn't have mattered. So, but yeah, I went with the Celestial Defender, so I could see Chris McLeese repeating, being the first ever 2-time TFO champion. I thought that it was interesting that I picked two teams that had already played in a TFO championship bowl. So it would have been both of their seconds, and it would have been the first time ever that a repeat bowl would have occurred. So that would have been kind of crazy. I guess the Hollywood Heroes is a different team, so that's kind of cool. But it's the same owner. That's Clayton Rusta Shackelford. So. Alright, so what else do I got here? See you next Tecmo. So, I've been going on a good amount. I wanted to do something a little longer, a little special with, having the mid-season. Wanted to kind of project and see what teams are getting to the playoffs. I'm not really sold what I showed you earlier of the people in the playoffs, just based on what the current standing is. I don't think the current standing is a good measurement tool. I think one thing that really skews that is the bad snap division with all of them having 6 and 3s. They're going to be playing each other. That's going to even out and change up and all that. So, but a lot those teams are really in a spot because, you really want 9 wins. So being 6 and 3 means you're only 3 wins shy. So there's only been ever one team in TFO history that did not get in the playoffs with 9 wins. And that was the TMNT Torturers last year. There were just too many teams that had good records in their divisions. And so when it came to them, they didn't have the good tiebreaker, unfortunately. It was sad because the 8-Bit Brigade beat them and caused them not to make it in and stuff like that. That's what happens. Your friends become enemies. TFO. It's bloodlust. There's a lot of teams that are just to the precipice. They're just hoping another team will falter, like the Weapon X's, the DBZ Squad, the Raider All-Stars, the Racial Slurs. Those are teams that aren't that far behind, to be honest. They're only like 1 or 2 victories back from a wild card spot in the bad. So they're definitely teams to look out for. Teams that look like they might be done, though. And, anything happens in TFO. So, if you got only 3 victories at this point, you really got to hit it in hyper gear. Because remember, you need to get 6 victories out of the next, 7 games? 6 victories out of the next 7 games. So, will the Hoovians be able to do that? Will the Azrothian Assassins be able to do that? Will the Nocturne Maniacs or the TMNT Torturers be able to do that? I don't know. We're going to find out. And then for the Mad, teams that are just, peeking through the curtain are like the All-American Alkies and the Champs Chumps, who are both tied with the Greek Legends right now. Westeros Guardians is only 2 victories back there, so they're not too far back there. And even in the Mad Pop, the Pokemon Pokeballers, Palette Pokeball, Pokemon Pokeballers, they're 4 and 5, so they're not really that far behind there. It's another story for like the Hall of Famers and Rainbow Unicorns, who are 3 and 6. I guess they're only like 3 victories back from Venture, so that's not too bad. The Robot Masters are 1 and 8, and GI Joe's 2 and 7. That is pretty far back there. I don't think any team is out of it right now, because if you get hot, you can win them all and win your tiebreaker and stuff. But 1 and 8 almost means the Robot Masters have to win all the rest of their games. So that's, they might want to consider Dr. Wily not coming back. I think he had sabotaged them. And G.I. Joe, I think the problem there is you got G.I. Joe and Cobra trying to work together on the same team. I think sometimes those mixtures just don't work out too well. Yeah, I guess that's it. So it's been great so far. I'm glad all the buys are now all settled and solid. Going forward, it means every match is pretty even. It's going to give us a better indicator of who the best teams are going into the playoffs. It'll be interesting to see who makes the playoffs, especially now that we've seen the chart of who would currently be making it. And it's a very interesting and eclectic group so far. So I'm pretty proud of how you guys have been doing and how your players have been acting. So keep it up. And see you next Tecmo.